This article, dealing with the Coptic Orthodox Church in Africa, is about the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria in African countries other than Egypt. The Apostolic Throne of the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria is based in the ancient Alexandria, Egypt, which is in Africa. The jurisdiction of the Church of Alexandria extended, as per canon law of the First and Second Ecumenical Councils, to the province of Egypt, Nubia and Pentapolis. Later on it expanded south to encompass all of what is now known as the Sudan. Since the demise of the Latin North African Archiepiscopate of Carthage in the 8th century, Alexandria became the sole apostolic throne in the entire continent of Africa. The historical evangelization of the Apostolic Throne of Alexandria in Africa, apart from Egypt, Pentapolis, Libya, Nubia and the Sudan, does extend to Ethiopia. Ethiopia constituted a major archdiocese of the Church of Alexandria, which was always governed by an Egyptian patriarchal vicar in the rank of archbishop since the 4th century, and named Abuna Salama by the Ethiopian Church. By 1929, the Alexandrine throne allowed the Ethiopian clergy to participate in the governing of their own church, and the first native Ethiopian archbishop was enthroned in 1930. In 1959, an agreement was reached between the Ethiopian Holy Synod and the Alexandrine throne to have their own patriarch Catholicos in a transitional period. The Ethiopian archbishop ordained as primate of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church back in 1950, was elevated by the Coptic Orthodox Pope of Alexandria Joseph II in Cairo and enthroned in Addis Ababa by the members of the Ethiopian Holy Synod, and an Alexandrine delegation. The first prelate, Abuna Basilius I, Patriarch Catholicos of Addis Ababa and all Ethiopia, was ordained and enthroned in 1959 by Pope Cyril VI of Alexandria. The Patriarchate of Ethiopia is now vacant with the death in August 2012 of its fifth Patriarch, Abuna Paulos I. This is after the Patriarchates of Abuna Theophilus I, Abuna Tekel Hyamenot I and Abuna Mercurius I, Mengistu communist regime, and who is now living in self-exile in the United States. Recently, the relation between the two churches improved significantly upon the signing of common declaration by the two patriarchs and the visit of Abuna Paulos to Egypt and the visit of Pope Shenouda to Ethiopia, Eritrea, whose own prelate, Abuna Philippos I, Patriarch of Asmara and of all Eritrea, was ordained and enthroned in May 1998 by Pope Shenouda III, Pope and Patriarch of Alexandria. This made the new Patriarchate of Asmara and of all Eritrea a hierarchically and jurisdictionally independent autocephalous patriarchate. The current prelate, Abuna Antonius I, is the third Patriarch of Asmara and all Eritrea, who succeeded Jacob I, the second Patriarch of Asmara and all Eritrea. However, he was deposed non-canonically in January 2006, and replaced by Abuna Dioscorus I. This action is however not approved by the Alexandrine throne and is still under debate. Prior to gaining autonomy in 1994 and then autocephaly in 1998, it constituted a major archdiocese within the Patriarchate of Addis Ababa and all Ethiopia. Both the Patriarchate of Addis Ababa and all Ethiopia and the Patriarchate of Asmara and all Eritrea do acknowledge the supremacy of honor and dignity of the Pope and Patriarch of Alexandria on the basis that both patriarchates were established by the throne of Alexandria and that they have the roots in the Apostolic Church of Alexandria, and acknowledge that St. Mark the Apostle is the founder of the churches through the heritage and apostolic evangelization of the Fathers of Alexandria. In other words, the Patriarchate of Addis Ababa and all Ethiopia and the Patriarchate of Asmara and all Eritrea are daughter churches of the Holy Apostolic Patriarchate of Alexandria, the Sudan. This country, who had both Egyptian expatriates and native adherents, is divided into two eparchies and whose prelates are Sarabamin, Bishop of the Holy Diocese of Atbara, Omdurman and all the north of the Sudan, and titular Bishop of the great and ancient metropolis of Nubia, Faras of Nobadia, Dongola of Markuria and Sober of Alaudia. Elia, Bishop of the Holy Diocese of Khartoum and all the south of the Sudan. The number of Coptic Sudanese is estimated around 200,000. Libya, Tunisia, Algeria and Morocco. Christianity spread to the Pentapolis of North Africa from Egypt. Synesius of Cyrene, Bishop of Ptolemy, received his instruction at Alexandria in both the catechetical school and the Musaeon, and he entertained a great deal of reverence and affection for Hypatia, the last pagan Neoplatonists, whose classes he had attended. Synesius was raised to the episcopate by Theophilus, Patriarch of Alexandria, in 410 AD. Since the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, Cyrenaica had been recognized as an ecclesiastical province of the See of Alexandria in accordance with the ruling of the Nicene Fathers. Pope of the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria to this day includes the Pentapolis in his title as an area within his jurisdiction. The Coptic congregations in these countries were under the ancient eparchy of the Western Pentapolis, which was part of the Coptic Orthodox Church for centuries until the 13th century. In 1971, Pope Shenouda III reinstated it as part of the eparchy of Pachomius, Metropolitan of the Holy Metropolis of Behaira, Mariout, Marsamatru, Patriarchal Exarch of the ancient metropolis of Libya, and titular Metropolitan Archbishop of the great and ancient metropolis of Pentapolis. And this was one among a chain of many restructuring of several eparchies by Pope Shenouda III, while some of them were incorporated into the jurisdiction of others, especially those who were within an uncovered region or which were part of a metropolis that became extinct, or by dividing large eparchies into smaller, more manageable eparchies. This was part of the restructuring of the Church as a whole. Sub-Saharan Africa. Although the Coptic Orthodox Church had a bishop for missionary affairs in Africa in the 1950s, this was not continued after the death of that bishop. There are two bishops dealing with sub-Saharan Africa. Currently the oldest serving bishop in this area is Antonius Marcos, General Bishop for African Affairs and Patriarchal Exarch in West and South Africa, who was consecrated in the 1976 by Pope Shenouda III. In the 1990s, and as the service area had expanded, Pope Shenouda III consecrated Paul as General Bishop for Evangelism and Mission and Patriarchal Exarch in East and Central Africa. Bishop Paul was originally a deacon, then of celibate priests. He was then tonsured as a Haran monk before he was consecrated as a bishop. Both bishops were physicians before becoming full-time clergymen. Here is a summary of the country's churches under the jurisdiction of Bishop Antonius Marcos according to his book, Come Across and Help Us, Book 3, 2003, and under the jurisdiction of Bishop Paul according to the Mission Bishopric website. In 1984, a Coptic cross was given as a gift by the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria and mounted on the top of the All Africa Conference of Churches building, as the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria is considered to be the mother church in Africa.